there, geeks! Adam coming at you with a special presentation here. As many of you are well aware, we are getting ready to launch a Kickstarter campaign. We are publishing a half issue of Mike's Armored comic book. Armored Half is on its way on Kickstarter, as brought to you by Wizards, the podcast guide to comics. Now, there are a lot of things in addition to the original exclusive story that is being created for that. We have a lot of extras just to take you back to some of that Wizard magazine nostalgia that we're known for. But one of those things is a history of the half issue comic. Yes, it originated through Wizard magazine in 1993. And as a part of that, we've been interviewing Wizard staffers and up to and including Gareb Shamus, the big cheese himself. So, what I'm going to be sharing here very quickly is just a piece of our video conversation where I was asking him all about the half issues, just giving you a little taste right now, because what's also going on is that Gareb is launching a new collectible trading card company. It's very fun. This is a way to get your celebrity autographs in a very unique format. So you'll get a little bit about the half issues. Then we're going to jump over into Gareb's new venture, and I'll be interested to get your thoughts on this because it's kind of an exciting thing. So let's get into that now, and I'll be back at the end to wrap things up.
It was really an extraordinary time in the comic book world where companies were launching number ones like crazy, and the numbers were just out of control in terms of how well they were doing. And then what came about was this idea that, hey, why don't we do zero issues, which are issues that predate issue number one. It's a perfect way to put another issue in the sequential order, but doesn't really disrupt the storyline. It kind of creates like this origin story. And that was kind of like the trend of what was going on. I don't remember who had done it first, but Wizard got really behind, whoever was doing that, probably Image at the time. And we were like, this is great. And then it really, once we started writing about it and publishers started doing it, it was kind of all the rage. But I even think before it became like ridiculously popular, we were thinking about like, well, how do we get in on this? Because it was like, what can we do to kind of benefit from that? And we were also at the time, the magazine was doing incredibly well. We had a passionate audience. They wanted to buy more stuff from us. They just wanted us to do more things. But to start more magazines, everything for us to do new was a lot of work for us. If we wanted to create a new magazine, especially a new monthly, forget it. It's a lot of work. To do a one-off special, is usually about a 4 or 5 month, 6 month process to be able to put that together. So we were thinking about like, well, what could we sell? And then secondly, like, what could we do to work more with publishers, to give them a lot more coverage? Because also at the time, we were selling better than 95+% of the comic books out there. So when Wizard was selling 3, 4, 500,000 copies a month, and the average comic book, the big ones were selling, hundreds of thousands, even into potentially million category. 95% of them didn't sell that as well as that. And there was a chance for us to really do that, to work with those titles and give them a real boost. And then kind of had this great idea, like, why don't we do something in the middle? Like instead of doing 0 or 1, why don't we do the half offer, like where we could still be part of the sequential storytelling. It's still another issue there. And then by calling it a half issue, we can also not be burdensome for the publisher and artists and writers and do half of an issue. So at the time, an average comic book was 22 pages. We were like, all right, let's do 11 pages. And that was how kind of like our thought process behind it. And that's kind of like where the germ of the idea came from.
I know that right now you yourself have kind of gone back in time to your roots in collectibles, and you have an exciting new project right now that's going on. What can you tell us about that?
What's really exciting is that, people know me in the comic book world, right? But we also started magazines on Magic the Gathering and card games. So as much as I had, that kind of um, foothold in the comic book world with the fans. We had that foothold in the card gaming world, right? So the people in the card gaming world look at us and me like what we did in comic books, but the comic book world doesn't see that. Like, they may not see the card gaming world that way. And the same thing with the action figure world. You know, we were working with Marvel and DC and created, Mattel and Hasbro on the action figures, and then created an industry for a lot of the independent toy companies to be able to create action figures. So again, like people see me in the comic book world, but we had an equal impact in action figures, in card gaming, and then the same in the anime and manga world, because there was a lot of material coming in from overseas into the US that people didn't know. But one of the other areas of interest, me growing up, I collected sports cards, and I have three brothers, and that's really how I got into the business. Was I collected sports cards and comic books, and then it became such a big family. Like I said, three brothers became such a big family hobby that we opened up a sports card and comic book store. So even though people see me in comic books, they don't realize that I've also been a card collector for 50 years, and with my brothers. So, and I'm still a collector of cards as one of the things that I do. So, but it's not anything that I did a magazine on. Actually, there was a few years where I did a sports card magazine called Sports Look,
Yeah.
where the idea was to combine all sports into one magazine versus having a magazine for each sport. So we did kind of foray into that world. It wasn't, it didn't work out well in terms of like having a long-term appeal. The card market really started suffering back in the early 2000s. There was a lot, much like comic books had a lot of speculation and then kind of, petered out and then, kind of grew again. Same thing happened in the sports card world. And we kind of hit that cycle as well. But yes, so I've been a card collector my entire life. And one of the other great things about what we did was when we were doing our A's Comic Cons, we did 7 events before COVID. And in that period of time, we sold over 50,000 autographs. And it was really an extraordinary number, that we were able to sell, that went to go show that there's an incredible, insatiable thirst for getting autographs by people, by celebrities that people, want to meet or get their autograph. And so when you think about like what one of my, what I call like my unfair advantage in life, is my ability to work with the biggest celebrities in the world. And in thinking that with my brother and, and my brothers, like, what do we do? We have this incredible access. And then it was like, of course, what if we do celebrity autograph trading cards and create our own brand? So I came up with the name StarPics. It was actually an old trading card brand from over 30 years ago. And they were actually one of the first trading card companies to do autograph trading cards. Now, at the time, it didn't work because actually signing a trading card defaced, people thought of it as defacing the card. So if you remember back in the comic book world, people didn't want to get autographed comic books because you'd be defacing the comic book if there was pen mark on it. And if it didn't matter that it was the author or the artist or the creator of the character signing the comic book, there was that point in time, if you remember, where nobody touched a pen to a comic book that was defacing it. And then all of a sudden, time shifted in that it became an added value to the comic book. And the same thing had happened in the sports card world. And so now, getting cards signed is an added value as opposed to, detracting from the value. So I started this company called StarPics, and the idea is to create celebrity autograph trading cards. And I've got some to show you. So this is what the packaging is going to look like. So every card that people get is going to come in a collector box.
Wow.
And it's really exciting. And then you're going to be able to open it up And then when you open up the card, so in this case, it's a Paul Rudd card. So we did an autograph signing of Paul Rudd. And so this is what the card looks like.
Yeah.
And so what's fascinating about what we're doing is when we started StarPics, the idea was what are the things in the autograph world and the card world that collectors really want that they're not getting currently from the autograph card market? And the number one thing is working with top celebrities, right? So number one, it's, can we get the best people in the world, the one that people are seeking the most to be able to sign? Can we do that? Yes, we could do that. Number two, there's been a trend more recently in the last few years where people are signing stickers that get affixed to the card. So it's very, very big in the sports world to do that, because to try to get thousands of athletes throughout the year for all the different cards that are coming out, it's impossible to herd them all up to be able to get them the cards, get them to sign the cards, get them to send them back. If they're playing during the season, it's impossible. So the card companies send them stickers, they sign the stickers, and then they fix the stickers to the cards. All of our autographs are on card. So the celebrity saw the card, touched the card, and knows exactly what they're signing. So it's not some mystery as to what they're getting. The other thing is also all the cards are very, very high quality. We did limited editions, so we did different foil versions of the card. This happens to be a gold hollow foil 1 of 10 version of it. And then the other great thing that we're doing is every card is coming CGC Signature Series graded and authenticated in the holder. So the biggest pain point for people is they open up boxes after boxes, may not get what they want. And even if they do get something, you then have to pack it up, ship it, send it to get graded, wait months, and then get it back. We took that whole kind of process out. Every single card comes graded and authenticated by CGC, so you know what you're getting is real. And then also every card, because people know about CGC for comic books, every card has a barcode and a serial number on it. They all have its own unique identifying QR code, so you could literally look it up. There's a pop report. So when we say that there's only 41 of a card, that you could look it up. You could look up your card and it matches exactly. And then one other feature that we did that makes it very unique that I don't think anyone is doing right now is that we have it date stamped. So on every label is the date when the card was signed. So over time and over history, you're going to be able to go back and say, oh, this card was signed on this particular date. So you know if it was an early signature or late signature, that kind of thing. So it really kind of puts in perspective, when the actual signature took place. And so here's one example of a card that we did. Here's another one. This is Palm. So she plays Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. So in this case, this is a 1 in 5 red foil edition. And it's graded a 10 pristine condition. And it's in the holder and it's beautiful. Here's another one that people are going to go crazy for. We did a signing with Ozzy Osbourne. So there's also a red foil version. And there's some real surprises in there. We did a dark and a light version of it. It's date stamped. Ozzy signed it, which is incredible. I have a few friends that I told about this, and they're like, you have to save me one. It's like, no, you're going to have to go on. And we're going to wind up doing drops. So we'll wind up doing drops where we'll announce which celebrity we're doing, and then at a very specific time, very specific day, everyone's going to have equal access to try to do it. And they're all very, very limited editions. We're keeping them very low numbered because we really want to get the program going and really, encourage people that they're going to have to act early because, they're going to be tough to get. And then,
And how do people stay up to date on that? Is it social media? Is there a subscription service? How is this working?
yeah, it's going to be a couple ways. One is we put a link up on the website, starpicscards.com, so that people can sign up for the newsletter. It's our VIP newsletter, so you'll be first to know when a signing is coming up and who we're working with. And then now that we're getting ready to launch in early December, we're going to start posting a lot more on social, like which cards are coming up, which ones to prepare for. We're going to be emailing people and giving everybody kind of a good heads up. And then also we have a lot of partners. We have CGC, JSA, the authentication company. We'll be working with, we'll do a lot of kind of PR and outreach, people like you and people that we're friends with, my own personal social. So yeah, so we'll get it out there, and then we'll have Facebook groups. We'll set up all of kinds of social, and then yeah, really get out. And then of course, when you're talking about the celebrities that we're talking about, whether it's a Paul Rudd or Ozzy Osbourne, they have millions to tens of millions of fans, that would all be seeking for that kind of sliver of connection with their favorites. So there's kind of like a huge pool of people that would be interested in it.
Well, I'll just tell you, I'm a big Kiss fan. So when you get to the stage
Oh
with
yeah.
Gene Simmons, I know you've worked with him in the past. So let me know. I'll be on there. But this is very exciting. It's fun to see you come in full circle with collectibles, something that really means something to you personally and being able to understand from the fan perspective what they want. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, what's great is like, I want these things. So why not? So since I wanted one the most, I made this card. And so this is the Gareb. This is actually my business card. So
Wow.
so when I have anybody that I meet with in person that I want to work with, they get the Gareb Shamus autograph, signed, date, numbered, limited edition, hollow gold foil version of me
That's amazing.
for you.
We need one in the archives, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Well, and again, thank you so much for taking the time for sharing your excitement over this new venture, but also, the history of the half issue and giving us that insight there. So we appreciate it and best of luck.
Okay, thank you. Great seeing you.
All right. Well, now you know all about the newest adventure that Gareb Shamus is taking the collectibles world on. So if that's something you're interested in, look out for the launch of that exciting line of autographed cards, including, hey, you want that Gareb Shamus one? I know we do, as we talked about. But either way, the exciting thing for us is this Kickstarter campaign. So if you could go over to Kickstarter.com. If you already have an account, great. If not, just set one up real quick. It will be a big help if you just follow our campaign. So if you just search Armored Half Wizards, you will be able to find it. But also, we're going to have a link down here in the description of this video, so you can follow that as well. Of course, we're going to be sharing it on social media as well. You can follow at Wizards Comics on all your favorite social platforms. But we are just so excited to bring this to you. We hope that you are ready for the return of the half issue. But until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.